Hello, my name is Spencer Dopel. I'll be presenting for Team EcoFlys today. My mentors are Bob Cohen and Bob Leach. So the problem that we solve with our minimal viable product is we help reptile owners achieve better nutritional health thanks to our designer black soldier flies. Every year, reptiles suffer from nutritional deficiencies which cause metabolic bone disease. With our calcium-rich black soldier fly option, reptile owners can worry less about improper nutrition. So first, let me explain the different interaction flows and how my idea works. The black soldier fly has at least 10 viable markets. I encourage you to follow along with figure 1 as I go along. The black soldier fly first starts its life out as one of 33,000 black soldier flies and a gram of eggs. These eggs then hatch into 5 doles or 5-day-old larvae and are fed organic waste that would otherwise go into landfill. They are voracious eaters with a food conversion ratio of close to 1:1. In comparison, fish eat at a food conversion ratio of around 2:1, and cattle would be a food conversion ratio of 6.8:1. There's some waste left over after they are done eating called frass that can be used as a rich fertilizer in our first market, the biofertilizer market. The 5-dole larva will break down the organic matter for 5 days. At the end of these 5 days, 80% will be used for fresh and dried animal feed in our other 2 markets. The fresh larva will be sold at retail price to reptile owners to prevent metabolic bone disease, while the dried processed food will be sold to aquaculture companies as a way to mitigate the price increase of fish meal and soy. This process prevents up to 17.5 pounds of organic waste from entering landfills and half a pound of carbon dioxide from released into the atmosphere. Next, let's look at the market size of the black soldier fly industry. A lot of the numbers for the industry are locked up in research reports that are paid only, but there are a few facts that I could acquire. First, last year, the black soldier fly industry was worth $144 million globally. This was an increase at a rate of 45% CAGR from 2019 to 2025, and then to $1.3 billion, and finally grow to $2.57 billion in 2030. As I said earlier, there are 10 available markets, but we're going to focus on 3 available markets that can benefit each other in terms of volume and price. At our first minimal viable product will be the whole live retail larva in the early years to create profits, but 2025 this will be the second profitable in millions, probably because of their higher price point in the reptile industry because of them being alive. The next thing we'll market is frass. This is a bioproduct of our operation, but as a benefit to organic farmers, we'll use this to lower the price point of our bug meal, as the input for the 5-dole development organic waste is practically free. This industry is a good choice to target because they will be producing the second most in tonnage traded during this period. Once more funding comes into our final product will be bug meal, which is the most profitable and biggest market segment. Digging deeper into our minimal viable product, it is reported that 1.8 million households own reptiles. In an interview I did, someone quoted me a 10% metabolic bone disease rate in reptiles, which means 180,000 suffer from metabolic bone disease every year. The current solution for metabolic bone disease is calcium powder, which may or may not have vitamin D. Some of the product lines are Zoomed, Reptile Cal, and Flukers. Some of the current feeder insects that are being used are mealworms, crickets, superworms, and dubia roaches. Finally, this is an emerging market that is very fragmented. There are only 5 companies in North America and less than 30 companies worldwide. I was able to complete 21 interviews and identify the best 3 key customer segments as we already addressed. These 3 industries are very different in operation and in how they value our product. For example, the aquaculture industry sees the bug meal as a way to mitigate price increases in the upcoming years, as increased demand and finite catch quotas will drive fish meal up. From 1990 to 2020, price meals fluctuated from $300 up to $1,300. The poultry industry is not interested in the feed as a feed replacement, but rather as a supplement, specifically for the egg-laying hens. If they don't receive enough calcium, they can lay their eggs that will have soft outer shells. Finally, our main industry we'll be working on is reptile industry. This is a hard one because while we provide a great benefit in not being able to use calcium powder or worry about metabolic bone disease as much, you pretty much are trying to convince them of a problem that hasn't happened but could. The one thing that I did notice that all these industries had in common were their need for consistent feed and their need for feed that was customized to the amino acid or nutrient benefit they wanted per animal. For instance, the aquaculture industry wants to use the bug meal since there will be an increase in aquaculture development and rise in fish meal prices, but they also want it specialized to the fish to per se increase water visibility. Every fish may not benefit the same from the meal. There is no good cheap way to test the quality of one meal against another. Another specific example for the biofertilizer industry is NPK ratios. Plants also need specific nutrients, and by changing the feed of the black soldier fly, you can change their frass composition, and you can see this in the insect direct figure to the right. Some unexpected feedback I heard was about the frass could be used indirectly to lower the bug meal price. I did not think of this, and most of the agriculture companies right now are claiming there is not enough supply or the price is too high, so this will help solve those issues in later years. So finally, the short-term next steps I'll be taking are going to be in the next 6 months. Step 1 will be going to the local Ohio reptile shows. There are about 4 to 5 every month, and I can register as a transient vendor in Ohio, so I'll be able to sell at all of them. I'm hoping to sell the black soldier flies as packs of 100 and build traffic and brand recognition to my e-commerce store. Step 2 is using the money from the grant to acquire some needed colony equipment to set up and retain a colony for production. Only 10% of hatches needed to repopulate the colony. This will be considered successful in their fertile eggs, as this is a common problem with the eggs because of lack of right breeding environment. Finally, spring I'm planning on competing in the Be the Change competition at Akron. For my long-term goals, I'm trying to create a designer black soldier fly that caters to the exact calcium-phosphorus ratio different reptiles have. Once this is complete, the next step is to work out frass customers to lower the whole and meal production cost. And finally, my last step will be acquire manufacturing equipment for meal production, such as a dryer and a sifter. During the reptile conventions, I'm planning on a survey the end consumer of reptiles to see if their cases of metabolic bone disease are higher than reported. Finally, this has been a great project for me, and the only way I think the I-Corps administration could help me more would be to get me in contact with an engineer. Our main customer segment likes the smaller black soldier fly, which requires us to overcome some engineering challenges. Thanks for your time, and I look forward to the rest of your all presentations.